may be shocking for some of you, but it's important to know that it doesn't make any difference to God whether you are grateful and appreciative. Doesn't matter. Doesn't make any difference. But it makes a big difference to you and your state of consciousness. So can you imagine God being dependent on our gratitude and appreciation? Well, if you can, I recommend you find another God. And that's all I'll say about that. My purpose today is to support you being in the flow of abundance with effortless ease, grace, and joy. And the human condition and spiritual solutions are as follows. It's about shifting from allowing events, people, things, and worldly conditions to run our nervous systems and shifting to denying them power over us. It's about going from acceptance of erroneous beliefs and shifting to unlearning erroneous beliefs. It's about going from working to making a living and shifting to working to live our making. Think about that. Working to live our making. Butterworth points out that our most important asset is the conscious control of our own life, our inner world of mind and emotions. Now, we can't control what happens to us, but we can control our reaction, our response to what happens to us. So whether it's the COVID-19 impact on our social lives, our employment, the economy, whatever it may be, we can't control what's happening, but we control how we respond to what's happening. And that goes along with that lovely saying I enjoy so much, that we are responsible for our second thought and our first action. Because even our thoughts just happen. We can't control our thoughts when they happen, but after they happen, we can change them. We can go from an old thought to a new thought, an old thought of lack and limitation to a new thought of abundance and prosperity. Butterworth tells of a man diagnosed with an incurable condition. And when the man was asked, "What will you do?" he replied, "I will do what I have always done, live with a grateful heart, one day at a time." Now, when this book went to print many years ago, the man was still alive, more than 10 years after his diagnosis. So maybe his attitude of gratitude made a difference. And having a grateful heart doesn't mean that we have something in specific to be grateful for. Just allowing gratitude to flow forth from within us becomes this causative energy. So it's not just a reactionary emotion, but it's a causative energy, this gratitude. It's an energy that flows and causes things to happen. Paul advised, "In all things, give thanks." Wow. Not just in some things, give thanks. In all things, give thanks. So that means inflation, stock market decline, unemployment, no matter what's going on, in the moment, give thanks. You know, it's really easy to give thanks when things are going smoothly. It takes a spiritually evolved consciousness to give thanks in difficult times. So despite seeming lack in any area of your life, keep yourself centered in an awareness of ever-present substance, that invisible stuff that stands under all that is. Our co-founder in Unity, Charles Fillmore, called it the ethers. I love that, the ethers. So it's not just about expressing gratitude, it's about having a grateful heart. Even if you don't think you have much to be grateful for, give thanks from a faith, that faith that is your inherent birthright. Give thanks from that great reserve of faith, even when it doesn't seem there's anything to be grateful for. Because the grateful heart actually opens the way to the flow and attracts to itself great things. It's also about seeing things from the highest possible point of view, regardless of appearances. To be able to see from the awareness of what Butterworth calls the allness of life. To see from the awareness of the allness of life and the ever-presence of substance. So we don't have to look for things to be grateful for. We just can have a grateful heart. But it's very important that when we are looking for things to be grateful for, that we do it not from a perspective of lack and limitation, or from an attitude of complaint or discouragement, because if we do that, we're just going to draw more of the same. So we want to be grateful from a higher viewpoint, from a perspective of knowing that this is an abundant universe and that there's more than enough for us. And again, when we talk about abundance and prosperity, it is all areas of our life, our health, our relationships, our peace of mind, and of course financially as well. And it's not about giving thanks for unpleasant things, but giving thanks from an awareness of this all-sufficiency, even within what seems to be insufficiency. I love the fact that Butterworth said that Jesus did not give thanks for the inadequate lunch. He gave thanks from an elevated consciousness of the whole of God's substance present in its entirety at every point in space. And that's how he multiplied the loaves and fishes. The word blessing actually means to confer prosperity upon, to confer a consciousness of prosperity, of abundance. So that's what our job is, to bless what we have right now. I remember when we were wanting our own building over 20 years, almost 20 years ago, well actually 21 years ago, 22 years ago, when we were really holding that vision of having our own home. And we blessed where we were. We were at the Santa Fe Women's Club, and we blessed it, even as we held this vision. And now in a few days, just 5 days from now, we're actually going to be celebrating 20 years in our very own building, our sacred place. And I think I mentioned the story last week, and it bears repeating, of Charles Fillmore. He picked up a penny that was tossed on the stage, and he blessed it. So whenever I find a penny on the street or whatever, I always hold it up and bless it. And blessing doesn't exert any magical power over people, conditions, or things. It doesn't change things. It doesn't change other people. It changes me. It changes you. It changes our thoughts and feelings and the consciousness that we bring to our world. I like to think of Jacob at the Jabbok River. And he said to the angel that was wrestling with him, he said, when the angel said, "Let me go, the day is breaking." And he said, "I won't let go of you until you bless me. I won't let go of you until you bless me." And that's what I like to do with challenges in my life, is to say, okay, I'm not letting go until you bless me, until I can get into a consciousness where I can find the blessing right in the midst of the challenge. And some of the things that gratitude does is it keeps us in an awareness of the unity of all life. It puts us in the flow of life. It cultivates our consciousness of abundance and activates the law of attraction. And again, you don't have to have a specific thing to be grateful for. We can just have the desire to be grateful. And all the substance of the universe, all the wealth that has ever manifested itself or will ever manifest itself is present right now. So we want to get into the flow of that abundance so that our attraction of it is effortless and with ease, grace, and joy. A couple of unity quotes that are related to this gratitude. From Adam's Smashing Power of Mind, Charles Fillmore wrote, "The rich harvest of heaven is now gathered in the earth, and there is plenty everywhere." Not just somewhere. There is plenty everywhere. And Myrtle, in How to Let God Help You, wrote, "You are not to take your prosperity as a matter of fact. You are to be as deeply grateful for every demonstration as you would be for some unexpected treasure poured in your lap." And from the Bible, in Psalms, "Take delight in the Lord, and he will bring you the desires of your heart." And from Luke, "For where your treasure is, there will be your heart also." And I love from Psalms, "This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." Walt Whitman wrote, "Oh, while I live to be the ruler of life, not a slave, to meet life as a powerful conqueror, and nothing exterior to me shall ever take command of me." So that relates to that idea of not giving people and circumstances, situations, power to make our lives miserable. We can be grateful, and be in command of ourselves. Plato said, "A grateful mind is a great mind, which eventually attracts to itself great things." So there we go again, the law of attraction. And Theodore Roosevelt said, "Do what you can with what you have right where you are." I love that. Do what you can with what you have right where you are. And that includes being grateful for what you have right where you are. When I shift to feeling gratitude, I experience an automatic attitude adjustment, and I'm sure you do too. So then we go into chapter 6, and Butterworth writes about work and the success syndrome. So that's just another place where we may need an attitude adjustment. We may need to use gratitude there as well. And I don't know if you've ever thought of work as a giving process. Because when we work, whatever work we're doing, we're in the creative flow. And we can be in that creative flow through the sheer joy of fulfilling our divine nature. I agree with the story that Butterworth tells about the distinguished Harvard professor who said, the university pays me for doing what I would gladly do for nothing if I could afford it." And that's what I think of too. So make sure the board hears me say, if I could afford it, I would do this job for nothing. My work, I am so blessed. It gives me the privilege to grow as a person. I moved from Los Alamos to Santa Fe so I could be more active at Unity Santa Fe. I longed for more time to study truth and to grow spiritually. And bang, 6 months later, it was a full-time job. So now I understand Butterworth's suggestion, instead of making a living, let's joyously live our making. I can't think of anything worse than being in a job that is drudgery, empty, and meaningless. And I've had a number of jobs. Before ministry, I was a sales clerk, a clerk typist, a bartender, a singing cocktail waitress. And they were not hymns, but we won't go into that. I was a personnel clerk. I was a human resources specialist. I was an investigator of fraud, waste, and abuse. And while they weren't, all these jobs weren't my bliss, I did feel purpose in each of them. And I strived to do the best I could in whatever job I had. I have to admit, though, there were days when I watched the clock and days I woke up and searched for a reason to call in sick. You know, I felt all over my body, isn't there some reason I could call in sick today? And I'm delighted to say that neither of those things have happened a single day in the past 25 years as minister of Unity Santa Fe. Not that there hasn't been occasions when thoughts of retirement have crossed my mind, like when I realized I had to learn how to do a Sunday service on Zoom. Wow, I wasn't sure I was ready for that. But Butterworth says if you're not if you are not growing in the process of doing your work, then something must be wrong. So I'm glad to report that nothing is wrong. I am continually stretched beyond what I think I can do and be. And becoming a Zoom guru is the most recent example. It's important to do what you do in an awareness that you are working with God, by whatever name you may call God, for the releasing of your own inner splendor. And God can do no more for us than he can do through us, or she can do through us, or it can do through us. If our work doesn't satisfy us, it's because we're not satisfied with or fulfilled in ourselves. And the only one who can keep us from succeeding is, the only one that can keep me from succeeding is me. The only one that can keep you from succeeding is you. And we do that when we block our own creative flow. So our desire to get ahead, to succeed, is intuitive. It's an intuitive awareness of something within us that wants to succeed through us. And I call it divine discontent. It's a basic drive that often is interpreted as the desire to have more. But it's actually a divine discontent. It's like God calling us up higher to be more. Not to have more, but to be more. And success is not getting there. It's earning the right in consciousness to be there. Success is an expanded awareness. It's inner growth. There's a tombstone that says, "Here lies the body of Andrew Murray, who cobbled shoes to the glory of God for 40 years. So are you doing what you do? Whether you're retired and doing volunteer work or you're still working, are you doing it for the glory of God? That's so essential in order to really feel good about whatever work we're doing. Because each one of us is a channel through which creativity, ideas, and boundless energies flow. So our work is an expression of us, of our inner being. And as we give it to the world, if we do it with our whole heart, it can't help but bless those around us. And of course, it blesses us. So strive to find work that is from your heart. But if you find yourself in a job or situation that doesn't make your heart sing, you can still bring your heart in. And when I used to do career counseling in the civilian personnel office at Pearl Harbor, I would encourage people, if they were in a job they didn't like, to do the best job you can do right where you are, because that will be noticed by other people. And that's what will attract to you a job that is more in alignment with what your heart desires. So no matter what the task, it's up to us to give it as a gift to the universe and to place our heart into being a gift. It's our ultimate happiness and prosperity to keep that in circulation that we've been given, whether it's time, talent, or treasure. So from the Bible, God is the source of a mighty stream of substance and you are a tributary to that stream. That's actually from Charles Fillmore. Got my notes messed up a little bit here. So Charles Fillmore said, God is the source of a mighty stream of abundance, and you are a tributary to that stream, a channel of expression. And Catherine Ponder, a well-known Unity minister, says, success comes when you move forward, rejecting all that tends to distract you from your master plan. And the Bible, in Luke, it says, for where your treasure is, there will be your heart also. Same quote as from the previous chapter. And from Ecclesiastes, I perceive that there is nothing better than that a man or a woman should rejoice in his own or her own works. Then Joel Goldsmith, a wonderful mystic, said, all you can do is to recognize that you embody all that God is and has. You must not try to get. You must not try to have. You must learn how to let infinity flow out from you. And Ralph Waldo Emerson said, no matter what your work, let it be your own. No matter what your occupation, let what you are doing be organic. Let it be in your bones. In this way, you will open the door by which the affluence of heaven and earth shall stream into you. Wow. So how do we do this? And we always know the first way is prayer and meditation and gratitude. And so I've asked Catherine if she's facilitating a gratitude soul circle right now, and I've asked if she will share with us some of the how-tos that they are discussing in their soul circle. So take it away, Catherine.
Okay. Well, I am referring to a little book it's called The Little Book of Gratitude. It's by Dr. Richard Emmons, who's a PhD and has done a lot of research into gratitude and the effects that it has on our lives. And the effects are overwhelmingly positive. So the two practices that we have done so far, number one is journaling. And I invite everyone to spend a few moments every day, and it doesn't have to be a lot of time, but just sit down with pen and paper and write the things that you're grateful for. Just put them down and then give them some thought, let them come into your heart and really feel that gratitude. It's a very powerful practice, and it only takes minutes a day. The other one that we're working on this week, Dr. Emmons suggested to sit down about an hour before going to bed. And this practice is called Count Blessings, Not Sheep. And just spend about 15 minutes writing about something in your life that is very positive, whether it's a person, an event, whatever it is. Just spend about 15 minutes writing it down. And then as you get into bed, allow yourself to just think about those things that you're grateful for, being aware of things in your environment, the sounds around you. I always become aware of the warmth of my little dog Carmela, who always snuggles up to me in bed. And just letting these things flow and see how it affects your ability to fall asleep and have a better quality of sleep. Because Dr. Emmons talks about all of the positive things that gratitude can do for us, not just on a spiritual level, but emotionally and mentally, physically. And I have found this to be true in my life. I've been practicing gratitude as my main spiritual practice for 25 years. And I can say that the practice of gratitude has impacted my life positively through times of great challenge, as well as times of joy and happiness and blessing. So I would just encourage everyone, as an experiment this week, just take a few minutes a day, write down the things in your life that make you happy, that make you feel blessed, that enhance your life. And the more that I concentrate on the positive things in my life, the things I'm grateful for, the less time I spend concentrating on the negatives or the things that are challenging. So I just offer that as a possibility of something to do, and I'd love to hear how that goes for you.
Thanks so much, Catherine, for sharing that. You know, Meister Eckhart said, if the only prayer you said was thank you, that would be enough. And another practical how-to you can do this week is to confer prosperity. In other words, to bless all the things, the experiences, the persons who have a profound influence on your life. Be sure to bless whatever work you're doing, again, whether it's volunteer or paid. And bless, just bless it all. There's no such thing as too many blessings or too many things to bless. So I celebrate that each one of us is in the flow of abundance with effortless ease, grace, and joy. As we shift from allowing events, people, things, and worldly conditions to run our nervous system to denying them power over us. As we shift from acceptance of erroneous beliefs to unlearning erroneous beliefs. And as we shift from working to make a living to working to live our making. And let's begin doing that right now by being one together in a sacred time of shared prayer. So I invite us to begin by just observing the breath, allowing it to find its own rhythm and pace, allowing each breath to relax the body, still the mind, open the heart. Feel the relaxation, the stillness, the openness. As you center your consciousness on and experience feelings of gratitude, just feel grateful. Feel the energy of gratitude. Not for things. Just feel the causative energy of gratitude. Allow the spirit of thanksgiving to flood every cell and atom of your body, your heart, your soul, your mind, your whole being with its healing warmth. Allow the healing warmth of gratitude to radiate its vital energy, knowing that like a mighty magnet, it is putting you in the flow of divine substance and attracting more and more to be grateful for. Feel gratitude in the silence. As we gently bring our attention back to this time and place, silently say, thank you, divine substance flowing as me in all its fullness into my consciousness and through me as prosperity into all my affairs. Thank you, thank you, thank you, that it is so, and so it is, and so I am. Amen.